Mic check. This is Charles right here. Well, cheers, man.
Cheers. Hey.
Shit. Up in the crib.
Thanks for coming through. So what's up? You trying to start this podcast?
Well, me and my brother are trying to do something, man. I mean, trying to hone that thing down might be a little difficult. We're so sporadic. We're out in outer space with our conversations. I think we'll just, if it's social media or something that happens outside regularly, you just see a neighbor or somebody, member of the community, but just something will just trigger some emotion, and then me and him can just fall into a deep.
So is it going to be in person type or like?
Yeah, this is solid, man. Yeah, I mean, honestly, just with Chaz, man, all the stuff that's been happening in our lives lately, and I'm older now, man. Shit.
Aren't we all?
Shit, I just hit that Jackie Robinson at 42, dog, and I'm I don't know, man. Something just it triggered, bro. Like a lot of shit just happening in the community. I feel like there's a definite calling to awaken just the youth, bro. There's a definite yearning for these kids. I mean, you saw what happened in town the other day. Kids chasing people with machetes. You know what I mean?
You mean here?
Yeah,
in Hawaii?
Yeah.
It's like what?
Yes, the other day, it was a group of kids had knives swinging, just big scraps, man. It just feels like a lot of our community here at home anyway is just lost. And then whenever I tap back in San Diego, it's that, if not worse. You know what I'm saying? So
That's interesting, man. So your brother right now is in San Diego.
yeah, my baby brother Chaz was in San Diego for sure.
You're out here in Hawaii.
I'm here. So we have the same father, split parents, right? Split moms. So I came back out here and I was raised in Mililani, and then I left Mililani when I was 9, and then I was in San Diego, and then I came back, 2000, right? 2000, and then I've been here ever since. So that's when I ran into y'all, you brothers. We all in the backpack scene, you know, Kay and all of them. That's yeah.
You know what I'm interested in? Now we're in our mid-age, right?
Yeah.
And me in my 30s, I guess you 40s, but values changed. Also, the vision changed, the mission changed, right?
Yeah.
And so you're looking at podcasts as a way to sort of. It sounds like it's deeper than just media at this point.
Yeah, man. I guess too. You know, we saw the internet come. We was at that age, and as soon as I saw social media, like MySpace, Black Planet, Asian Avenue, all these things, right?
Yeah.
I really didn't see the need back then. I was still like a pager kid, super analog. You know what I mean? But I think I was talking to Zach, and we were just having a conversation one time, and he was just like, you know, this is just how these kids are. You know what I mean? My kids don't know what a dial tone sounds like. You know what I mean? It's these types of things that I have to remember as there's this bridge or this generational thing going on. So for me, the podcasting is more of a release. I know there's all types of media platforms, but just being able to vocalize that, I mean, that's my brother's definitely, I think, would be better at this, I guess. It's more of his shtick. However, I do like to just chop it up with him, you know what I mean, in this space, which feels comfortable. Yeah, man, I mean, that's the overall vision. I think everything in between right now is just a step. So I try not to get too attached to, like, you know, people get caught up in if you go through college and you say you don't finish college or something happens outside of your plan, right? You have kids. And for people that had goals, sometimes kids just shatters all that. You don't know what to do. You know
yeah,
I mean?
and they have that, they're facing that kind of like guilt where they're like, I don't want to blame my children as the reason why I didn't X, Y, Z.
Right. Or you get caught up in the past, like you capped, like you lived your best life, and all of a sudden you have this avatar now, and that person died, and you don't even know how to fill this position as parent / older person, because time's not going to stop for anybody. I'm uncle, dog. That's just what it is. Uncle Charlie is here. You can't fight it. You know what I mean? And so just taking on that responsibility, it's your kuleana. You know what I mean? You got to handle that.
You know what? On that point where I'm a young parent, if you will, like I think my first child's birthday is kind of like my birthday as a parent as well.
Right.
So it's like I'm as old as she is, but as a parent, I mean, of course, it starts earlier than that.
Right.
And I think a lot of my teaching experience in Japan helped me with that. That built a huge, like, strong foundation. We'll jump into the Japan thing with your boy.
Yes, I think we will. I need some information on that for sure.
When you're a young parent and you're looking around, every child's different. And so no matter how much anecdotal stories you pile up in your whole knapsack, it never prepares you for what your child says or your child needs. And so you feel like you're always putting out these fires.
Absolutely, man. I think, you know, I think I was 25 when I had Ezra, and I have 5 now, and that's including Jada, which we kind of Brady bunched it, you know, add water, and now we have this huge, right? So Ala brought in 1, I brought in 2, and then we made 2, so we have 5. And the age gap environmental aspects of that, man. Just what they're up in, what they were up against, what these kids saw, and then now you have them in this home. Sometimes they go back and forth. So there's a lot of different just aspects, and narratives, if you will, that they see. So as a parent, I think we learn. At first, you would think, if I try to use my parents as an example for how I should father, I don't think it always works, man. I think there's some core values that you'll bring, that my father has taught him. And there's some things I would never do that my father did to me. You know what I mean?
That you don't even know your father did.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. Are we all right?
Yeah. It's a great thing, man. I love it. Because, once I break down and realize that they're watching me that hard, it's a second opportunity to do something greater in my life. And I think that's what's actually birthed these other ideas. When I see them, they're going out into this world. I'm wise enough to understand that not everybody has the same household as us. You don't. But I know my boys. I know you. I know how, obviously I don't know the privacy parts of it, but I know by the way that your daughters are. You know what I mean? And so when I hear somebody compliment my children, that lets me know I'm doing a good job as a father, at least.
You're damn right. I know it's... I mean, you, like, Ezra's 18, right?
He's about to hit it. Yeah.
He's about to hit 18. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, technically you could, like, check out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, 18, that's kind of a big milestone in every parent's mind, especially in this country, right?
Right.
Where that is the accepted adulthood number. I mean, it's different in Japan. But it's almost like a finish line, and you're like, let me do everything I can to set them up for that point.
Right.
And there's always that self-doubt whispering in your ear. There's always that, like, not competition, but I would say, like, what's that, comparing going on, where you're like, that's what they do. They have 2 kids like me, and that, like, whatever.
Right.
Look left, look right, but really just look down, look at what you're doing, look in the mirror, I think. Because when you're talking about, like, being a parent and then taking pages out of the playbook of your parents, well, I mean, shoot, I was raised by a single parent.
Right.
And so, like, however detailed her playbook is, right? And she has to cover both dad and mom bases kind of thing. Right. I had an older brother who, when I think about it now as an older man, I'm like, I think I looked up to him as somewhat of a father figure.
Right.
But it didn't work because it's only an 18-month age gap. So there was still that kind of, like,
limitation.
Man, I might be able to lick you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Chill. Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, I feel like, the more I learned trying to plan and see some type of future for my kids, most of the time it misses because they're kids, they're going to do their own thing. So I think what me and Olive started to do is be more nurturing to whatever it is that they're interested in. Mm-hmm. And there is still a subtle push, man. Like, for instance, Jada. Yeah. She just got a letter from UCLA, medicine, and she wants to do this trip in the summer. And we were kind of just having this conversation. And I said, UCLA, I was like, yeah, that's the one. That's the school I wanted to go to, right? And then without being, vicariously trying to push my life through her, I still was more like, this is what it is. These are the benefits and so on and so forth. And I think I don't want to put too much pressure on them where they feel that they have to fulfill something for us. I want my kids to feel very independent and they're making free will decisions. However, I think the trick is to still create a standard and give them pushback. You know what I mean? You cannot just let them run wild. It's just, you got to get creative, man. Because I was raised in the 80s. You get a foot in your ass real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We had physical reminders.
Yeah.
There's a lot more leaning away towards that. I think physical reminders that came in the form of belts nearby. Yeah. Whatever you could grab. I mean, there's a real distinct moment in my upbringing where my mom, little Japanese, Asian, like
I love
Japanese,
your mom, by the way.
American. Shout out to moms.
How many times
I'm gonna get her on this.
You should, man. She's smooth. I'll never forget being at your brother's and at the house. We tried to freestyle, and he had the filter with the pantyhose on it, and I was just going buck wild. And she opened that door, and I said, I gotta go. I'm out of here. I'm just too loud for this house right now.
She raised both of us.
Yeah.
These 2 big grown men. It got to a point where I remember she got the belt and she was going at it, but it just didn't hurt.
She like swings.
So me and my bro looking at each other like, do we act at this point?
Yeah. Just dramatic. Oh. Yeah. For sure.
I mean, I don't necessarily hit. That's a touchy subject too nowadays. Where, like, you get caught on camera, who knows what's gonna happen nowadays, right? Like, But we grew up with that kind of physical reminders, if you will. And
I don't need, you know what? How about this? I've been blessed in the sense that my kids are pretty responsive to what we do, what we say. And I think, honestly, when I look back in retrospect, I think my father might have been ill-equipped at times as he was coming. He might have had his own personal things going on. And then you get home from working and you feel insufficient. And then here's your kid that's jacked up at school. Nothing even that major, but you just get all of the day's pain just, lashed out on you or whatnot. And it's not to say I was abused. I think sometimes he kind of crossed the line, but I'm just raising that. It's like the difference between a 90s NBA player and this new generation. You feel me? Like, I think that's just kind of, we're just sensitive. And I think just the new generation, a little sensitive. You know what I mean? A little sensitive. And
hey, you're talking to a soccer player. I get it. We get that shit all the time.
I mean, soccer players, they get hit in the ankle, leaving a neck brace. Carry this guy out.
Let's get a hell of back.
For real.
I was just watching some highlights today, and I was like, it hasn't slowed down at all. You would think, like, come on, it's actually exaggerated because you got VAR, you got all these slow-mo angles from everywhere, and it's like, that doesn't hurt.
It didn't hurt at all.
What is that encouraging? You know what I mean? Like, it's not encouraging better skill, technique. It's actually encouraging that strategy.
Yeah. Exactly, that's what it does in all these sports. It's part of the game now. When Hack a Shack and all, we don't even, you know what? We don't even.
Yeah, I know we're dealing with a hardcore NBA fan here. So
no, we don't. I think I'm just more into I miss the grit, dude. I miss grit. I miss when you had to deal with something and, you couldn't just whine and then everything was handed to you on a platter. I felt like that's kind of a rite of passage, even like construction. It was just old school. Somebody's yelling at you, deal with it. Be coachable. This is part of you turning into this next person, your transition.
How do you deal with stress? I think that's a big measure today, right? Like today, the instant any amount of stress is introduced, it's like you have an out. And you can claim victim, you can throw that card out there, you can claim, hey, that's not right according to this movement and this hashtag and so forth. Like there's all these outs versus it's just you and that issue bully that's asking for your money, or it's just you and that person at the bus stop. Like that kind of
it actually
sink or swim.
It's separating it, man. Like if you've got the majority and what's being pushed extremely hard on a lot of these media platforms, the majority is falling soft. And that's just real. But you're not the whole world is going to be soft. So what is happening, I think you're getting this huge majority that's going to just be bullied. And you're going to have these wolves that are actually happy. It's like if I was a evil and I understood that everybody else is a punk, right? I'm punking everybody. You know what I mean? It's like, so I don't want my kids to feel, it's like I still feel like you should teach a kid how to throw a 1-2. You know what I mean? I feel like that's important. You should know how to do yard work. I mean, it sounds cliche, but it's true, bro. And people, when I was in my 20s, this is when things started to fall apart. You know what I mean? Shout out to the roots. Things started to fall apart though, man. And then I don't know, man. I'm not even mad. I'm just more disappointed that mental health is at an all-time high. It's suicide rates, all this stuff. And now as we swing back to just the age, I think I don't know what happened. I used to be about my drinking and partying, and it wasn't about not having guidance. I cared about things that are happening in the world, but they weren't just kind of off in the distance. I knew it was happening. Yeah. But now when I wake up, man, it's like I pray, I get my prayer on, make my connection with God, and then I think about in my mind, and it's what hits me first is just what's happening. And I feel I'm not doing my part if I don't contribute somehow. I did enough eating, you know what I'm saying, in my younger life, so now it's time to feed,
Eating and feeding and being that provider, right?
Right.
I mean, not just as a parent, but as a member of a family, for example. I want to get back to that community point.
Yeah, community, man. And actually, let's get into this thing because it's been on my mind, man. My son, I'm interested in it. I want to know, and he has no idea. I told him this knucklehead, and I think he's probably with his chick right now. I said today was supposed to be, hey, come with Dad day. This Negro texted me last night at midnight. Dad, I'm gonna hang out with a couple friends tomorrow. I said, bro, it's supposed to be Dad Sunday. I was gonna drop this stuff on him, but I was gonna bring him. But he wants to hit these streets, so it's all good. I'm not tripping.
Hey, he's 17 going on 18. He graduated. He's graduated already?
Nah, this year though. This is senior year.
Oh, so it's the beginning of his senior year. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Senioritis is probably going to set in pretty soon. Oh, it's already.
I was kicking. I got the thing. We got his phone thing. I'm like, where is this? Where is he going, bro?
Ooh, good thing we didn't have that. No, but I mean, in a nutshell, I went there with a 1-year plan.
Okay.
A lot of people go there. A lot of people go to Japan through the JET program, which is like one of the largest assistant language teacher, ALT. The ALT position in Japan is a commodity. I mean, English is a commodity in Japan. So if English is your native language and or you're proficient at it, you essentially can get a job in Japan. Some require you to have a 4-year degree, like the JET program.
Okay.
So you just need a 4-year degree or a degree from an accredited university. And you have a degree. It doesn't even have to be in teaching, education, anything like that. It just has to be a degree. And then you can apply. Now, those contracts are usually on a 1-year basis. And if your hosting organization, or actually that is JET is your hosting organization, but if the school, the district, the Ministry of Education, depending on what level you're in the system, if they decide, like, hey, let's renew your contract after a year, and you decide, yeah, let's renew a contract, then you can do that up to 4 times for a total of 5 years. That's the typical basic, like, so many ALTs out there know exactly what I just said. My situation was a little different in that I was a direct hire through my university. One of the Japanese professors in a class at my university in my senior year was just like, hey, there's this opportunity for 2 ALTs in Shiga, Japan. I'm like, I don't even know where Shiga is, but she said Japan. I look it up and I'm like, what? I didn't know the geography that well.
Right.
Everybody knows like Tokyo, Osaka, maybe Hokkaido or something.
Right.
Okinawa, right?
Right.
Shiga, what? I was like, oh, it's kind of like, it's on the main island. All right. I know they got good train systems. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And got selected, went on a 1-year contract.
Do they house you?
And they take care of you. So I will give them, when I say them, I mean JET, or even if you're a private hire through the Board of Education, kind of like what I was, you can expect to be subsidized for your living expenses. Mine came in the form of, at the end of the year, they would give me a lump sum that was basically worked out to half of my rent every month. It was just, I would have to pay the rent. It would get deducted from my account automatically. But at the end of the year, I was caught, like, I got basically half of that back.
That's cool.
So that's a huge part.
Yeah.
Not only that, but you also have transportation on your side, because it's very easy to use public transportation and get where you want to go in that country. Even in the country of that country, the public transportation is really good. And so when I look at things like the rail in Hawaii, I'm like, that's cute. That's cute. Y'all,
super cute.
You're trying.
It's
you're
super
trying.
cute. I just don't understand the start and end point, but I mean that's beside the point.
I became a huge fan of public transportation. Not just when I went to Oregon for 5 years, I was like a bike rider after that.
I forgot you went to Oregon.
Yeah,
I forgot because I knew you was in Africa for a while. I knew you went to Japan.
All of the above.
Yeah, man, that's solid, Mr. International.
Hey, and there's still so much more. You know what I'm saying? I almost went. Your boy almost went to Qatar for the World Cup.
That would have been killer.
But I'm like, yo, with the kids, that's a long flight. I mean, not one flight. That's a long travel plan.
You got to drop down, switch planes, get gas, something, right? That's not a.
I was like, you got to spend a night in London, maybe, or New York. Like, I was trying to break it up, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? It's coming to our neck of the woods in 2026.
Is it?
Yeah.
Where?
Qatar is going to be dope because everything is in one small country.
Okay.
So you're going to have all the teams and all the fans in one relatively small location.
Just laying on top
that
of each
vibe
other.
that's special.
Yeah.
In 2026, it's going to be North America. Canada, so they're going to be host cities in Canada, America, and Mexico.
Mexico's probably fire, though.
Yeah, but imagine you being a fan and you're like, I want 3 tickets.
Right.
Imagine how much logistical planning has to go into that, how much travel has to go into that, and how much more money and budget time you're going to be spending just moving from this little. It's basically a bunch of islands.
Right.
Every host city is a little island now, versus it could have been a metropolis.
Right. That makes sense. So with Japan. So I'm actually excited because this is what Ezra wanted to do with his graduation gift. I said, I'm gonna buy you a biscuit, the worst car you can ever get your hands on, or we can go somewhere. You can pick one friend, right, and we'll go wherever you want to go. And he's like, oh, automatic. Forget the biscuit, Dad. I want to go to Japan. So we've been working on his passport. I got mine back. I don't even know. And side story, we went to Australia with this thing, and my beard was a little bit long. It was actually much longer than this. And every checkpoint, bro, Stop.
Time out.
Like, come on, man.
I can see it though.
Does my name not look like Charles? Like, no, they were thinking other stuff, man. I was like, oh my God. And all of us just laughing at me the whole time. But anyway.
That's the brown struggle. The brown man struggle. The bearded brown man struggle.
I had the audacity to tie his head wrap the other day. I was like, you need to stop. You need to stop. But no, I'm interested because
what is he like?
Ezra he's always been into manga. He's always been into anime, Japanese rock for sure. You know what I mean? And he's just in it, man. And I think that has a lot to do with Hawaii, man. Like Hawaii, we've always kind of been immersed in. And I remember being a kid reading the comic books from like right to left, and it was like the fingers blowing through the body, body parts falling off, and that was it, man. I remember that, and so I think it had a huge thing to do with it. And he's taking Japanese too in school. He just loves it, man. His girlfriend's Japanese, Papa Japanese.
Like, okay, see now, I'm careful when I say Japanese. I mean like Japanese from motherland Japanese?
No.
Japanese American.
Papa, like Mililani Japanese.
Oh, okay. See, that's a different breed.
Yeah,
I mean, it's connected. We all connected.
But yeah, but I mean, I'm not saying that's the reason why he has that girlfriend. I'm just saying I think his mind is just in that area.
Well, you know what?
I think she's Japanese. Forgive me, Anya. If you, we're not gonna cut this out.
That's all right. They could have been here. Could have been.
Yeah.
But you know, when people ask me like, what should I do in Japan? First of all, 8 years. 8 years is a little bit longer than most people spend there, so I think I have some kind of validation of what I'm saying, just based off sheer experience. And so when someone asks me like, what should I do?
I just want to eat food, bro.
I always like I turn that around. Like, what do you like to do, and then how can that be done differently or build on that? Food is a given,
bro.
And so before that, I like to zone in on zero in on the time of the year you're going, because the seasonality of that country is something that should not be slept on.
Okay.
The seasonality. We come from this island. It's usually the same. Maybe
that's it, right.
There's animals here and there. You know what I mean? Like the whale season's coming up now.
Animals here and there.
The surf season, right? That's our seasons. But the seasonality in Japan is so clear. It's so amazing. Winter is winter.
Yeah.
Spring is spring. Summer, fall is fall. And each one comes with their own palette.
Right.
So if I know,
that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And you got to lean into that.
Yeah.
So even if you've been there for like sakura season in spring, all right, well, you haven't been there in fall.
Right. And I think that's when we're going to try to go, the fall.
So.
Okay, so fall.
So like a year from now, kind of.
A year from now.
So.
You got to save some change up for this thing.
Bro. You know what, though? It's not as crazy.
No?
As you think. Like, if you're talking about food, like if you're just
I'm
going
just thinking about getting there. I'm thinking about just the
okay.
logistics of this thing. The food stuff, I understand that spending. And I'm not even really worried about it, you know? And I know the yen is taking a hit right now.
Yeah, so
hard.
Right now is a great time. Actually, I would actually just start buying yen with the dollar right now. Just stack that in. No, I'm serious, bro.
Yeah.
Because once you land, it's actually not as expensive as you might think. Eating and lodging is, I would say, more accessible than, let's say, if I was in New York. Like when I went to New York, I was like, damn, I'm just bleeding money over here. But in Japan, you can definitely get by. So food, seasonality is my number one thing. If you go in fall, now that's when the hot foods start to make their emergence once again, right? Because summer's hot. It's humid. You're swimming in the air. Okay, that's when I cut my hair. I was like, this fro I landed with a head full of hair, and then since then, people know me like this.
Just in an armpit. You just feel like you're in an armpit.
Don't you ever wake up at 6 a.m. with a layer of film? Wake up shiny. Like what?
Oh my God!
I didn't experience that, and if you're not ready, that can be a very like a hampering thing because you're just like, I'm not going outside.
I think that he's gonna need some. I mean, it's like he's gonna. I'm not saying do some tourist stuff, but I'm saying we're gonna have to go up there with an idea. Like I'm down for spontaneous walking through communities and things like that, and just because I'm trying to envision this. It's Ezra, his buddy, and me, right? And anybody else that wants to join the party, anybody else that wants to join the Japan train. But I'm just like, okay, when I get my ass up there, knowing him and his boys going on a jet, right? Like, I'm gonna be like, no, you're not jetting nowhere first. We'll eat, organize this. We're gonna eat. Then you can go jet, and then
you know what I've seen work in a situation like yours. Wait, how long are we talking? Like a week? A week. That's good. That's good. So I would say commit to at least. if you're there for a week, I would say commit to 2, maybe 3 cities, or not even a city, but like locations.
The bullet train is in Japan, right?
Yeah.
I need to get on that.
The bullet train is in Japan.
I need to get on that.
Other countries have their version of it,
but it's not. The
Japan started that.
That's the bullet.
That maglev, like fast train. Yeah, and you know what? If you get like the JR Rail Pass, you can basically, JR is the biggest rail company, so they got the longest reach. If you get a rail pass, you can basically ride as much as you want. And so I would say pick like 2 main cities.
Okay.
That you want to go to. Mm-hmm. And then just enjoy the shit out of those 2 cities instead of spending half your time on transportation.
Right. That makes sense.
You know what I mean?
I'm down for that.
You don't want to just be driving past stuff. Like, actually get out.
And I actually want to see some rural Japan. I want to see some countryside.
That's where I live, bro. I've seen it. Hey, and you know, it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. See some nature.
You know what? Real talk. Where I stayed at reminds me of this place.
Okay.
Like this Moku, this Ahupua'a, this part of Oahu Island that I grew up on. The mountains where you're at now, right? Down to the beach.
Oh, Honokai.
Honokai. That's right. I love how I can see it from here. Because where I was located between a mountain and a big lake. So it's the biggest lake in Japan.
What's the name of the lake?
Third oldest in the world. It's called Lake Biwa.
Okay.
Huge lake. Okay. So sometimes you can't even see the other side of the lake. That's how big it is.
Is there mist on this thing too?
Sometimes. Oh,
bro, that's the one. I want to see that. Yeah.
I'm saying. And there's even islands in the lake. You're like, how? Islands in the lake?
I might go out there and just get real spiritual, dog.
If that's your thing, oh man, you can make a 30-day trip just based on visiting temples and shrines.
Yeah.
There's even like a trail. There's one in Europe, I think Spain. That's some sort of like in Japan. There's like a trail that the monks would walk to reach a certain level of elevation.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not butchering that explanation, but you get it. There's a physical aspect tied to some sort of spiritual enlightenment.
Right.
And the journey is a physical one and a figurative one, right? The journey. Right. So there's those kind of things in Japan, and you can kind of like just take bite-sized pieces of them. So let's just take Kyoto. I lived there in the last 3 of my 8 years.
That's where everyone wants to go, Kyoto.
Okay, I speak game on Kyoto all day.
That's where he went. That's I remember cleanly. That's what he said.
Kyoto?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. So I mean, all right, like Kyoto's that used to be the capital before it actually moved to Tokyo. Everyone knows Tokyo, right? Mm-hmm. But Kyoto was the OG or the capital before that. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of that history that stayed there. I think they have the most temples and shrines like per square foot or per capita or something. Like there's so many. Like you could walk into one by accident. You're like, oh wait, time out. I thought I was going to the convenience.
But I'm down for that, bro. Like I don't, you know, and this is me and my family been talking about this. This is our biggest thing as a family, like family goal, right? We started doing this DNA thing, right? And we started, you know, think about where we came from. And there's already, you know, I've got the Hawaiian side of me, which I can trace back like 3 generations, which is huge for me. Yeah. Because the other side of me is black, where that shit is just cut off. And that sucks. So there's this huge Hebrew uproar right now going on. And,
yes, there is.
And I think it's fair. And now I'm not going to give it to the media, but I think it's fair that people that are here have the opportunity to research their heritage by any means necessary. And part of that inspiration is doing things like here in Hawaii or going to places that are the people are still indigenous to that place. So if I go to Japan, the clean respect that I have for the heritage and the ability to trace back your ancestors, I think people take that shit for granted. You know what I'm saying?
I always considered it a trip to my motherland. It's interesting because I also went to my other motherland, or I guess you could say my fatherland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I took 1, 2, 3, I think 4 trips total to Africa while I was living in Japan.
Bro, I'm trying to go Senegal. So, that's my first thing.
I haven't been to that coast yet, West Coast, but
West side.
I mean, Mozambique, Madagascar, and South Africa, with a little layover in Addis Ababa, which is Ethiopia.
Yes.
So I mean, I still want to go like northern, not like all sub-Saharan Africa, but like Morocco.
Yes.
I'm all interested. I'm interested in it all.
It's crazy.
And it's crazy. That's the first time I remember seeing a curve of the earth, but it was land. Like when I'm flying over the continent of Africa.
You saw the curve.
I'm looking out the window. I'm like, I know I'm not tripping. You know what I mean? Like,
the African
I did pack a few goodies, but I know I'm not tripping. That looks like can I see the curve? And it was just land.
That's legit.
That left an impression on me similar to when I first flew into LA for the first time, and I just seen a grid for as far as I could see. I was like, this feels a bit Matrixy.
Very.
And then
very.
That's how some people feel when they come to the islands. They're like, all I see is water.
Yeah.
This is.
They get spooked out.
Yeah.
They trip me out. Get your ass in the water. Get your ass in the water. I just like burp, reverse, burp. I can't go anywhere. I got island fever. That's what they call it, right? Man, enjoy. I think people come for the wrong idea, and that's something huge too for traveling. I know that much about it, and Alice, me and her are very much on the same wavelength when it comes to traveling. You know, when we went to Australia, that was me and her traveling out of the country the first time together, and we get to Sydney, and one thing that I recognized about Australia is huge, first of all, and we were only massive. There for a week, and we went to Sydney, but it's very much like America in Sydney. You know, it's very industrial, business forward. People walk fast. Transportation systems are amazing. But one thing I noticed is there's a super nationalist attitude. And when we go and we travel, I'm more about what is the core of this place, not the things that are built around it to energize it and like batteries and to keep this capitalism thing going. I was more into like, okay, so where are the natives? The natives. Where's the culture
That's
at?
what I'm saying.
And me and Al we're getting frustrated because, you know, the people that we were hanging around would say things about the Aborigines, and I had to calm her down. Like, she's like,
Ala was ready to like,
she's super cool. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I was like, babe, chill. You had a couple drinks. We're on the train. And and this guy is in the same wedding as me. Oh. So I'm the best man in this wedding.
Okay.
So we're there for wedding. He's a little rip, and he's Filipino.
Okay.
So this guy was Filipino, but had an Australian nationalist attitude against Aborigines. So that blows my mind. That is a whole different level of layering that I don't quite understand. To buy into a nation attitude versus the originals and the respect that is just not shown. And she had every right to want to slap this fucker too. You know what I'm saying? But I was just like,
she would.
I can't sit by this fucker anymore. You know, that was her. And so she moved over, she sat down, and it was just interesting because I'm one that just absorbs.
Yeah.
And then I process and chew on it, and then, like I said, I check out on the city. We walked through the city. We saw a couple of jiu-jitsu places and stuff like that. And then we actually, after the wedding was done, we kind of went south. I forgot the name of this city, but it was way better. We had our own time too, and we Airbnb'd at this cool like lake house, and it was like a boat house, and it's cool like Australian couple, and then we got to just venture, and the food there is no food in Australia. It was like meat pies and kebabs. You know what I mean? The kebab. Hey, first of all, the kebabs are fire. It's like a gyro sandwich.
Okay,
that was fire.
Okay.
The China.
Lamb? We talking lamb?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Lamb, dog.
All right.
But big, not like you go to Greek. It's like little. You know, you go to Greek Marina.
Yeah.
And it's like, I thought that was big portions. No, over there they don't play around. They just don't extra. Just coming out of the pita bread. But the Chinatown is real, and I never even realized how close China is to Australia. Like there's
huge
this
population there,
bro. I think it was called Hertzville. So we just jumped on. It was me and her cruising. We jumped on the train. Babe, let's just ride this fucker.
Yeah.
I said, Hertzville sounds good. Get off. And there's casinos everywhere. So we're like, babe, follow me. And we got out, and like, it's all you hear is Chinese. That's how Chinatown this is. Like, there's no English really spoken.
If it's Chinatown, if I hear English, I'm leaving. I'm getting right back on that train. Hey, real talk. Otherwise, white. Come on, don't front.
Don't call it Chinatown.
There's a Chinatown everywhere, but is it really Chinatown? By the way, you should do with that, like that train exploring where like we don't have a destination, we just get out wherever. Definitely do that in Japan with Ezra.
Yeah.
Definitely do that.
That's what I think we're going to do. I mean, it's the only way I know how. It's funner like that.
Hey, I mean,
it's funner like that.
You got to allow some room for those happy accidents and the serendipity to kind of make its way into your plans. Have some pillars. We're going here. We're doing that.
We're going to eat, bro. Like, that's my thing. Like, I'm not bending on, like, this looked good at 5 o'clock, boys. We're in here. You know what I'm saying? I want to see the true noodles. I want to see, like, I want to sit at this small counter, like all the things I've seen, and I want to experience. And I want it to blow my mind. I'm really welcoming to this shit.
And you know what? I still have connects there who I'm very close with, who I can just say, hey, you know what? If anything, give me a list of like, because I've moved back, has it been 6 years?
You've been here for a minute.
I'm back. I've been here for like 6 years, back home for 6 years. But before that, the 8 was there. And I knew the places. Some I wouldn't be surprised if they're gone, but I know there's a few solid people there that I can lean on if I'm like, yo, take these guys to that place. You know what I mean? There are also a lot of tourists, or there's accommodations for tourists, both from the foreigners who live in Japan and make a living doing that, as well as the Japanese people in there make a living doing that. So
how is the tourism industry? It's not like here. Is it like touristy? That's the business, or is it like?
You know what? When you're talking about, was it Hertzville and there's this dude on the train, like there's a different brand of like racism in a different country, because you can't separate the history of a nation from these conversations. Right. And so we're different nations and we have different histories. You gotta accommodate for that. So like conversations I have with my wife, who's Japanese, Japanese, right? I'm always reminded, like, you know what? It's different when you zoom out. Right. These things that I talk about, these pain points, although I'm not like diminishing them, they are very connected and tied to the history over here. So in that same note, I feel like tourism, okay, it's the same tourism.
I guess the word sucks.
What?
I feel like there's a negative connotation
for tourism.
Yeah, when you say tourist, because if you say tourism here, knuckles are balling up, and so you got this weird idea. Like you say tourist, like bro, I'm visitors. Not a fucking tourist, dog. You know what I mean? Like
I've been there 6 weeks, man.
Oh shit!
It's there's that touchiness,
right?
And rightfully so.
Absolutely.
So visitors as a term is kind of like a synonym now that a lot of these places are using.
So yeah, I'm the Japan thing. I'm down for. I'm gonna actually hit you up again. I wanted him to be here just off of this, but just to pick your brain about that. So I'm gonna pick your brain about that shit anyway.
Yeah, but I invite Ezra to come through. Like, not saying like let's make a podcast, but just spit game to someone who's been there, has something to offer. I can give some very, very detailed recommendations. But in general, I think it sounds like, based off what we're talking about, and actually I remember, I don't know, post-pandemic, probably pre-pandemic, I think we were just at Roy's at the same time. And we kind of started talking about Japan. And that's where he lit up. Because at first, like, oh, just another uncle.
Yeah.
But then when the Japan thing came into play, he was like, he kind of lit up like, oh.
There's only a couple of things that make his eyelids lift, bro. Japan and music. It's a crazy thing. And, the thing about Ezra's music, too, I think he's a very talented guitar player. He was playing violin at a young age. He has a good ear. He can read music, stuff like that. And a lot of people have tried to push him in a particular direction. Like, hey, man, you can make a living off of this. And I remember him telling me, like, well, Dad, I'm going to have to get a band. And I don't know if I want to. I was like, I respect that, bro. If that's your little place of peace, you know what I'm saying? And you don't want to exploit it and you want to keep it safe, then I'm for that. If you I think there's other options in the music industry that will keep you around that, where you don't have to be dependent on dropping albums and stuff like that. Yeah. There's things, as far as the booth and, all that kind of stuff that you can do. You have plenty of uncles out here that have experience with that.
Right.
But I think his issue is, and I remember it, my son, and I don't think he likes to admit it. He doesn't actually like to think that I know kind of what he's going through, but he reminds me so much of myself because I was very lofty. I was very politically powered, though. I'm more political than he was when I was at that age. Okay. I was super...
Real strong beliefs.
I was on that. Like,
waving the flag.
Fuck police, brutality. I was on that drive. But for him, I understand that I feel like he's got a lot of shit on his shoulders, man. Like, I think my son has a lot of what he thinks is pressure. And I feel like it's just being communicated wrong. I want him to understand that it's not that we're in your corner to just power you up. But then I think we had to just digress. Like, look, let the boy go. If you're going to go out there and we're just going to give you some pointers, because I have to feel like as a parent that I have done my due diligence to say something. Because if I just let you go out there and you get fucking ran over, I should have said a car's coming. Even if you were saying, I got this. I just don't feel like I don't want to cross the street today, Dad. I'm going to cross this thing. I don't care. Okay. It's fine. You can cross it. Actually, I want you to feel empowered to cross that street, but there's a car that's coming, and I've been hit. I've seen fuckers get ran over, so I have to tell you that as my parental responsibility. But by all means, son, cross that motherfucker. Street. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like An age-old story, bro. My parents, and I think we upgrade though. And my father had a conversation with me, man. We've been a lot better in our relationship in these past few years, where he's actually at the level saying, "I love you, son." He would never have said it, but now we're on that level, just some grown men. And he's like, "I'm proud of you." And I think that it's because I got through this thing that I always thought that I was living for my father, and I never really understood. And then I turned into a father. And there's things I didn't do. But what I appreciated was when we came back and had the conversation 2 Christmases ago, when we were all in the same room, we saw the generations, my brother, him, my son, and my sons, that we were becoming more refined versions of him. So his stokedness was that he could see his legacy. And before, I was such a knucklehead that I didn't give a shit about legacy. I was more enwrapped and engulfed in not being your legacy. I was busy saying, stop controlling me, right? And you never really saw what you were supposed to be doing in your family lineage. And I hope that what I'm conveying to my boys and even my daughters is there is a responsibility. You can't run from this. No matter what you do, you're representing your family. You could go off and run away. You'll be known as the person that runs away. You could stay. You could, no matter what you do, you can't run from this shit. So if you're going to do anything, honor your ancestors. You know what I'm saying? Honor your lineage. And if your father fucked it up, then break the mold. Be better. You know what I'm saying? Or and just be different, whatever. But don't go backwards. Always advance your family. Carry it. And, represent, keep God first, man. And I'm just saying, man, like, it's a weird place, man.
Hey, that's a big step for your dad to say, I love you.
Huge.
And you know what? I noticed in the last, I've been back in Hawaii for 6 years now, but I noticed, and in the 13 years before that I had not been here living in Oregon and Japan, right? I would always visit back periodically, once a year, maybe twice a year, right? So it's like every time I'm coming back, I'm getting a new pulse on what's happening at home. And so and being very sensitive to language because I was learning Japanese at the whole time, right? I pick up on different words that people say to each other. And I feel like those words, love you, have been used way more recently.
That's great.
Especially among like us, like guys who, let's say, aren't necessarily blood related, but still using the word love. I not just like, we all have different circles.
Right.
It's in all of them.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm like, I actually like that.
I love that. I think
love
it's
that.
Huge, bro.
That people are saying, especially men, grown men are saying to other grown men that they love them.
Huge. Huge.
And there's no like resistance or like, ooh, what kind of like high school shit that,
Yeah.
If we said that
like
in high
grab
school.
ass and shit. Yeah. Yeah, dog. Like it's major. I appreciate that. Like it's crazy because we say it all the time. I say it to Ty when I see his ass over there. You know what I mean? I say Kay, all my boys, because I do think it's important. Men, grown in particular, have been, as of late, trying to be careful with this, as of late, have been questioned on what their purpose is now. If a woman can, if we were, it was always pushed that the man gets the bacon for years. And it kind of made this flip where girls get the bacon too. So many single mothers. So at that point, if a woman can make the money and can, watch the kids and do it, then what the fuck is the purpose of a man? And that is the problem. Like, if you pull away money, if you pull away all that shit, the purpose of the man, you need this seed. You're the queen. You bake that baby in the oven, first of all. And I'm never, ever, you know what I'm saying,
right.
take away from that. But the essentialness of the man, you know what I mean, and his role is vital. And the vulnerability that has to be shown, because it shows humility, man. Like, and to say, you know what, I fucking make mistakes, dog. Oh, I've been knocked out before, but I got the fuck up. It's important that my kids, anybody else around me sees that, like if Charles gets knocked down, this guy is going to get back up. And that's a man. And then I will come and I'll say, I love you. You know what and it's not to try to be more righteous as anybody. It's really just trying to stay aligned and then try to be just who the fuck I am. I feel like this is masculinity. I don't want to be emasculated, first of all, you know what I mean? But I want to do my part. Let me be the man that I'm supposed to be, who I feel innately to be. Let me grab my nuts. Let my nuts swing a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me feel empowered to be the man. You know what I mean?
And you know what? Part of being a man is love.
Uh-huh.
So expressing that is just expressing that part of your manlyhood.
Yeah.
I feel like there's that shift recently, at least in my experience coming back here. I'm like, yo, not everyone, but a great number are saying the word love, grown men saying to other grown men. And it's not only accepted, but it's also, I think, actually it has a stronger like bonding.
It does.
Sort of like it. Let's be real. A lot of our homies we don't see besides text bubbles. That's how we talk to a lot of the homies who previously we shared time and space with on the same team, in the same class, in the same job, whatever the case, right? And then now we're all connected, but it's a kind of a synthetic connection.
Okay.
And so I feel like it's almost like compensating for that. Like we're connected, but we ain't like connected the way we were. Like I haven't shaked your hand.
And I don't like that, bro. I got to be honest. Again, it could be this gap, but I understand, right, that we're in the new age. All right. And I know that I've gone to decade. In the decade, I'm my third operational decade, if you will. You know what I'm saying? As far as being a human. And I appreciate touching shit and seeing shit and seeing you. And, I don't, when I hear my daughters, they talk about stuff, they got some weird beef. I just left that on unread or some shit. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Oh, yep, they saw unread. Like, it's so disrespectful. I have to watch how I type my shit in there. Why'd you use all caps? I don't even want to have that conversation, bro. I don't want to explain.
It's a language, bro. It's a language within a language, nestled in a language.
Oh, shit.
I mean, not to be the old heads on the porch, but you know what I mean?
But they're smoking cigarettes. It's the only thing we're missing is a cigarette right now.
There's obvious generational gaps. I mean, but that's the beauty of it. Like, I'm almost like, I feel like a kid again, being a parent. Because everything they do is kind of, it's like, it's new to them, but it's new to me. It revives this kind of curiosity, this childlike curiosity, this inquisition. Yeah. That is a good question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you got to be careful how you answer that thing. Me and Olive's thing is this. Me and Olive always made this thing where, like, you know what you cannot say to them is because I said so. That's the thing where, like, I'm going to call you out. If I hear you say to any of our kids because I said so, you lose. Yeah. You fucking lose. You owe me $5. Yeah. You have to give them a legitimate reason if they ask. And they're not just being mischievous. Like, why? On that Bart Simpson shit?
Yeah.
Bart. That's age range.
Wait, who?
But Jesus. But to really just get him, I feel like just getting involved, and it's lazy if you cannot. And Allah called me out on that shit. I've been working a lot lately. I've picked up a second job because of our lull in our company. But it needs to be done. However, I need a second wind. And there is no excuse. You know what? And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Like, you got to strap the fuck in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, for your kids, it's a second wind. If you can go to work for your family, you can definitely interact with your family. And you have to think about why you're working in the first place. I want to work so I can have this positive environment and interaction with my children. This is what I do it for. And I've been catching myself as of late, just fucking smiling on some weird shit at my kids, bro. Like, I just on some weird, like, just smiling and almost cry. And I don't know what the emotion is. It's like a happy cry, almost a tear.
Am I proud?
It's just like, bro, it's like, and then I get subtle reminders of who I am through them, some of their actions, and watching their own personality form. And it's, dude, I wouldn't trade this shit for the world. I've done a lot of fucked up stuff in my life. I should actually be dead a couple times already.
You know what? On that note, there's you would understand. I mean, yeah, any young male would understand well, actually, that's a sort of question I ask myself. It's like, what is the ritual for us? If you were born in 2000 something, in 19 something, in 18 something, in 17 something, if you're born in the last 3 centuries, what is that ritual, that rite of passage that we experience, right? That high risk, Like your life is on the line. Like we ain't out here hunting a herd of buffalo where we could get.
It's emotional suicide, bro. It's emotional. I think it's mental health. Fuckers, they go mental now. They go mental and they vice the fuck out. That's why in all of history, our mental illnesses is at the all-time high. Now, whoever's collecting this data, I get there might be some spin on this shit, but you can go out there. Even I deal with this. You know, I feel like everybody needs a fucking therapist, bro. You need to be able to talk to somebody that's outside of the scheme of your shit sometimes, just so you can dump.
You know what?
An emotional dump sometimes.
Even me, I've seen more ads. BetterHelp, just to name one. But like the idea of having that, instead of like seeing drug commercials on TV of like weird names and like that ain't even English type of, but you're also seeing a lot of this. Yeah. Call now. Talk to someone to talk to. You have your own personal therapist.
It's real.
And I was like, if this is being run, if there's some money, ad money behind this, I asked, is chicken or egg, right? Is there actually the demand for it?
Yeah.
Or are they trying to actually like
create
the demand? Like there's a bit of both, but nevertheless, it's out there. Yeah. People are talking about it. I hear it, you know, and especially in the younger people, it's like mental health is at the forefront.
I mean, when I heard that kid, you know, he killed himself because of Facebook. People he doesn't even know personally. So what that did to me, that really hit me hard, man. I think that was like 10 years ago, something like that, when that little boy, he had to be like 12, was bullied. And you would think that you would go to the bullied people, like don't bully people. But here's the thing. That's not people. There's always going to be somebody that just wants to watch the fucking world burn. It's just how this fucker turns. However, you want to empower and strengthen and, you know, and let you, I mean, why was this kid's life so dedicated to the internet? How about that one? And I don't know if you're not going to be able to take the internet away. You're not going to be able to remove social media. But I still am trying to figure out what was so heavy for that 12-year-old that he put all of his eggs in one basket to all of the replies or whatnot on this interweb. And now he's hanging from a rope for his mother to find him. Like, what was so powerful, bro?
You know, I can't remember the exact quote, but it's something like, no matter what kind of pain it is, it's real. Something to that degree where it's like, it's so subjective that it's hard to, even, it doesn't matter how much of an empath you are. Right? Someone else's pain is their pain. And for us, sure, we could say, that's different from us. A lot of it is unrelatable, straight up, because we did not have this kind of experience, even possible at that age. So there's that, but then it's also like you just gotta respect.
And it's not to say that the kid was.
I'm not saying
was
you're
weak.
Disrespecting him.
The kid wasn't weak. I'm just like, I'm really wondering, like, in his mind, I'm really thinking, like, yo, like, what triggered it? Was it one kid? Was it a girl that he liked? Was it somebody's profile? And then I think about it, like, so if that's always gonna be there's trolls are fucking tripling by the second, you feel me? Their entire mission to make you hang yourself. It's like, I want to see if you'll kill yourself, bro.
There is that. That's a real thing where people try and push other people over the edge. If they sense weakness, vulnerability, it's like, oh, I can push this one over the edge. And that's just like, there's always a person who's trying to fuck shit up, right?
Yeah.
And what tools are available. And so now it's like, I could push this person over the edge 24/7, right? Like, that to me that's scary.
But what makes you want to go back to get pushed? So now, and mentally, I'm thinking, okay, so the first time you stepped onto this to the stage on the platform, and you put something out there, and people are just chewing your shit. They're just fucking your shit up. And you turn the computer off. That was fucked. I'm gonna go back, right? So he's like, okay, so I'm thinking, okay, we can't remove the internet, but what can we do? We can give, not an alternative means, but we can give you a backpack of tools to use while you're out there. So come over here and we're gonna let you know, let's give you your confidence up. Let's teach you what that person might actually be doing on their end. You don't know what they're doing on their end. They could be getting beat by their father, and now they want to take it out on you. And instead of killing themselves, they want to see you kill yourself. You know what I mean? It could be some weird ass Black Mirror shit. You know what I mean?
Hurt people.
Yeah, misery loves company.
They're probably hurt, right? And you know what? I mean, it sounds like that's kind of the blueprint to this retreat. I mean, it sounds like a big part.
Yeah.
I mean, if people come in there and they're experience this kind of pain, this could be part of that.
It's a tool bag, dude. We just want to give you a toolkit. We're not here to cure you. Because, I feel like curing mentally is really kind of on you. Because you can only lead a horse, right? Like we can only show you a door. Everybody's personal, spiritual, and mental growth really is inside of them. If I can say I recognize the pain that you're going through, and there's a multitude of people around our staff or whatever that's going to say, I recognize that. Mm-hmm. But obviously we all have our own fingerprints. So yours is going to be a little bit different. But let's find out about you. So who are you? What is this? Bang, you found yourself. We're going to crack at the shit so you can start believing in yourself, so that when you go to a place where you expose who you are, you're a little bit more confident. You have a little bit more belief in you, and you're not dependent on unseens to determine your value.
Hey, I don't know if it's already a part of your plan, but if not, consider it. I was just reading, every night I put the girls to sleep. We read a book. They each pick a book, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the books we read last night was a story like this. And every time I'm reading, not every time, but a lot of times I'm reading a children's book, I'm like, this is actually the OG when it comes to this kind of toolkit. Because every book is essentially offering a tool. Right? Like, what does the main character go through? In this case, it's like he started dancing and his friends teased him because he was the only one dancing like that. But then he went to his grandpa, and his grandpa was like, you like dancing? I do too. And then he started dancing all different ways. He got better, and then he went back to school, and then the kids were like, damn, you can dance. And he was celebrated.
Right.
And I'm like, that in a nutshell. Right?
But you interact with your babies though, right? You like talk about what does this mean to you? That I'm guaranteed there are a lot of parents that it's just it's assigned homework. So we're just gonna blaze through this bitch while Netflix is on.
You don't even need to finish that page.
Blah, blah, blah. No, don't point at that picture. Fuck that picture. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's absolutely important that as parents, we're like, what does that mean to you? And I'm guilty. Don't get me wrong. There have been times when I'm tired. I'm just like,
yeah. Yep. But I have gotten a lot better at the follow-up questions. And actually, it's an age thing, too. And each child is different, right? The questions that you can ask them is different. I know now a little bit better what questions to ask the older one and what questions to ask the younger one. Mm-hmm. And there's only kind of like me and my brother, it's an 18-month gap. But I know I can ask the older one questions about motives.
Right.
Questions about feelings. Right. Not your feeling, but what is that person feeling?
Absolutely.
What did Grandpa think?
It's so important,
when he started teaching this little bunny how to dance. Like,
it's so important.
What would you say?
Bro,
has this happened
so
to you?
Important.
You know what I mean? And so I've gone, and you know what? I take that elsewhere. If we listen to a song, if we're at the store and like we see something happen at the register, somebody like, I try and get them as much of these experiences. Like, okay, you wanted that? All right, you hand it to Auntie, right? She's at the register, right? And then if she says something that you didn't understand, then we kind of break that down later. Right. So it's like,
but dude, you're involved, and that's the Look, dude. Okay, and here's there is a lot of, I think and I can only speak for fathers. Al always tells me her number one quote, I swear I wish I got paid a nickel every time. As a mother, a mother, right? So I can only say as a father, or as a parent, or as a mentor or something, anything adoptive, you're taking over a young person's life. You cannot quit, bro. Like you can't, you got to do whatever is necessary. And I come from a split family. We are raising a split family where our exes are involved. And I think it's when me and Allah are talking about, our exes and things like that, we're first confident in each other, right? We're like, look, we love each other. Now we're talking about these babies that are going through something that we went through, and we told ourselves we would never put our babies through, but here we are going through the same thing. The importance is to include the other parents too. The communication should be open, but there needs to be respect on all sides. And then that's a very hard thing. And it's unfortunate though that you can have a lot of grown individuals and things like that. And I'm not pointing any fingers because I'm definitely guilty and things like that. It goes beyond even my situation. I'm talking about the responsibility of all adults that are involved in a child's life. That if this child has wide-eyed you at any time, that's it, bro. If you saw any, if you don't even have kids, some kid has open-eyed you, like, that's it. You are now with them hip to hip for the rest of their fucking life. That is what we're built for. We are here, vice regents of this planet. We curate the earth, and we reproduce, and we build legacy, and we represent our creator. And we respect each other. And I think there's a lot of spin, dude. This Kenji.
Yo,
this shit's been pissing me off lately, bro. I've been trying to turn the internet off. I don't know if you've been watching. There's a lot of anti-Semitism shit happening right now.
I see it. That's at the top of mind for a lot of people.
It's fucking crazy, bro. And I'm really I don't know where it lost the slip. And I feel like it had a lot to do with Kanye, right? And Kanye, we know Kanye's situation. I'm not even mad at this guy. Actually, I love Kanye still to this day. And I support Kyrie because every individual person is going to go through their own path. It's just the way that they're seen that there's more eyes on them. It's TMZ on their ass all day long on their growth patterns.
People eating off of making that kind of content available. And you just happen to be what's on the plate. You know what? I've had many
Let that man grow. Let that man grow.
Well, a lot of people will say, well, he chose it. That's the argument. Is like, well, he chose to put himself out. He chose to be.
Have you seen this documentary that they're talking about? Hebrews to Negroes.
I need to.
I have. Okay. I've read the book. Okay. Now there are some things in this documentary that are a little shaky.
So like when Kanye says, "I'm a Jew," if I watch this documentary, I'll kind of get it.
You will get it.
Okay.
I feel like there's a 98% of the motherfuckers that's talking on the internet right now have not even seen the book. They haven't watched the documentary. They're just jumping on the train. Yeah. Like we were talking about earlier, it's sheep ass. You know what I mean? But if you think about the plight of a black man in America, specifically, though, we're going to isolate it to America. When we can't go 2 generations back, it's very important now that we're 500 years into it, that now we're like, where the fuck did I come from, bro? And if there is a connection when they say, okay, obviously we came from Africa, and then you start saying it wasn't really Africa, and it gets real deep, bro. But it's like, if you trace linguistically, this is what this book goes into. Biblically, linguistically, DNA. Yep. It starts to do these things. Now, there's some things in it he talks about, like quotes that you're like questionable quotes from particular people like Hitler. Like, nigga, why would you even use Hitler?
Why would you be quoted?
I wouldn't have used Hitler as a red point, but that was his call.
Okay.
There's just things you can pick and choose, and you have to be wise enough to use certain things and, discern between it all. People cannot just say, oh, this is all inclusive. Discern between the things that you read. To me, the only literature that's ever 100% perfect is the Word of God. That's just me. I'm that guy. And it never has failed me to this point. But bottom line, if you trace, and I'm thinking about genealogical, DNA, there's just facts, bro, scientific facts that watches our traveling and movement through different angles through Africa that originated in Israel. This is their thing. This is the gist.
Okay.
We, like the West Africa trades and things that move, we come from the tribe of Judah, the 12 tribes, there's Abraham. Yeah. And we come from this, which is what associates us into the Bible. That's going to piss everybody off. Now, you've got, and I don't know why, because I don't think that Kanye or Kyrie Irving were trying to do something like white Jews ain't shit. They're not. That's not what he was saying. Like, I don't know why it gets twisted like that. Every time somebody black says, I'm just trying to find out where the fuck it come from, and we get a little bit black is beautiful. Nah. It's not about black is beautiful. Why are you hating on this? Like, bro, we're just trying to fucking spitting on you.
Hey, that's all right. That's why I got the whiskey, though.
It's just like, I'm just like, bro, like, let motherfuckers just do their homework and leave. It's just self-search, bro.
You know what? As a black American, African American who has taken a DNA test, I gotta say, and shout out to my mom, because she's the only reason I did. She's the only reason I did. She's the only reason my brother did. She thought it was a good idea.
Great idea.
And I was like, okay. I was kind of like confused. Like, That's okay. I get. Yeah, sounds good. Let's do it.
Right.
Ty did it. Let me do it.
Where does it come from? I want to know.
So when the results came in, they showed the maternal side and the paternal side, right? And so obviously I'm thinking I'm half my whole life I've been saying I'm half Japanese, half black. But what does that even mean?
Right.
When you say black,
yes.
When you say black,
yes. When
you say black in America, it's different saying black in Colombia, it's different saying black in Australia.
Yeah.
It's all relative.
It's all you're fucking so relative. Right, bro. You're and so right.
I'm African American. Okay, let's just say that then. I'm African American.
Okay.
That's a fucking continent. Let's break it down. Break it down.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this data and it just kind of highlights the map, right? Like with a color. Like I think it was red for the paternal side. And so like, of course you see sub-Saharan Africa.
Right.
Parts of it are like, there's red.
Right.
A lot of this is where your ancestors came from. And that was expected. But the part that was surprising was the maternal side.
That's the one though, right?
Which was like blue. So on the map, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm half Japanese. The blue shit was all over. So it was like not just this island of Japan,
right? Korea,
China, Southeast Asia,
right.
I've been called Malaysian in my like when I was in Japan.
Yeah.
Yo. Keep in mind, I'm born and raised in Hawaii.
Right.
Mixed plate.
Right.
Every color of the rainbow. Like
me and you both, bro.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm from. That's my identity that I'm taking with me as I go to Oregon. Oregon's the mainland. So a lot of the stereotypes I see on like TV, I'm seeing in real life.
Right.
Oh, this is these stereotypes. Asians driving these cars and having this kind of hair and stuff. I'm like, oh, because that's not like how I know my Asians back home. White, black, Mexican.
I'm with you on that.
You know, like I was like, oh, this is where stereotypes come from. That's not my experience. Like, come on.
Yeah,
you know what? We ain't used to Santa Claus in the snow, but we know it. Yeah. That's the same thing. It's like, oh, yeah.
I don't want people to get confused either, bro. It's like, it's not like I'm like, if anything's gonna do some heritage seeking, some DNA structure, it's only because it's interesting to us to know where we came from. I'm not gonna say it's like, oh, if I know that, even if it was proven I'm the chosen people from Israel, am I supposed to act like I'm from the Davidic line? What does that even look like? All I'm doing is seeing what my line looked like, because you fast forward, I am the representative of all of my ancestors inside of this. I'm embodying that. So like the late great doctor said, it's my content character, bro. This is the representant. But if we go look, it's just a personal thing. I'm going to go see where I come from. That's it. If I happen to be that, so be it. If Jesus is black, deal with it. But the thing is that I'm here now, and I'm going to go out there and shake hands with you. I have no ulterior agendas. That's my personal thing to find out what I'm made of. But I have all of that in me. So what you're getting right here is everything. And this is, and the only way I can create a new path or make it better is by being correct, or not in the sense of just being pono, bro, just righteous about it. And I know I'm going to make my mistakes, but my wake up goal, give my honor to creation because I know I'm created. Go out there and humble myself and be of service to my next man. Provide for my fucking youth. And then get old, get fat, make love to my woman, and fucking die. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's not even that.
It's really, that's all that life, that's all that life boils down to right there. You know, I hope that's on the wall somewhere. At your headquarters. I hope that's framed up.
At the headquarters. Man, it might be that Suntory, dog. I'm sorry, it might be that Suntory. My eyes closed right now. Let me get some of this smart water. I'm feeling really dumb.
But for real though, I think it's a human right to know where you came from.
Fuck yeah.
You should, why is it so hard?
Why is it so difficult?
And why would someone? What would someone have to gain from preventing us from knowing?
And that's what makes everybody get weird.
That's where all that shit comes. That's where it gets heavy. Weird. Yeah,
get weird now.
So,
you mean that really belongs to me? Like there's some hidden will somewhere.
Oh,
that you changed the names.
That's mine now.
Oh, excuse me, everybody, get out of here. This is actually mine. You know what I mean? It's like some Netflix original. Like, dude.
I could see some Black Mirror shit.
Like I'm saying,
coming off of this, like this whole idea. You know what? I hope Black Mirror comes back. Black Mirror.
I love Black Mirror, dog.
Yo, That's my shit.
That sci-fi horror, a little bit thriller, weirdo shit. Dog, ulterior universes.
You know why you love it? Why I love it? It's because it's so strange. It actually feels true.
I thought you baby was shrooms. Did what? Episode 6 on shrooms. Chocolate hearts. Hey kids, you're not listening to this. Don't put this shit out till all graduate. No, I'm just joking.
These parachutes. They were like these little senbei crackers that actually had psilocybin mushrooms in them. That was legal in Japan for a long time.
Just like Coke in America.
I mean, yeah, you wind back the clock. It's different rules, right? Different people making different rules, right? Yeah. But that shit's everything stay the same. People look for that step outside of the allotted. Like this is okay. This is the guardrails.
Yeah.
There's always gonna be.
Everything can be regulated.
Let me take a step out real quick. There's always gonna be. That's timeless.
But you know what's good? First of all, I've had my share of moments in life with the ulterior.
Yes, outside the
box.
The guardrail. Yeah.
I feel like there's a season for it all, bro. Like if you're in your drinking season, drink, but stop. Moderate that bitch. Control it. Know what you're doing with it. Have a purpose. Yeah. Don't just do it because you're mad. I don't, that emotional drinking or emotional drug abusing, I don't think that shit's healthy. That's a vice. That's vice.
If you're escaping, dulling,
you're numbing
distracting,
and shit, right?
That's.
But if you're in a season where you know what I'm gonna do? I'm smoking a herb right now, and then stop, because there are different presentations of your life when you're completely sober. There was when I never drank. I took a fucking hiatus, bro. I didn't do anything for shit like 6 months, right? And my sober high was just so clarifying. My body felt good. I actually felt better sober than I did when I was like, say, drinking or smoking herb and all these other things, right? But it wasn't to take away from the experience or the mental factors of while I was drinking. Because and this is just me, dude. I take notes of things while I'm drunk.
Yeah.
Or just buzzing. Yeah. Or I'm high. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, this is how I feel about this shit, And
everyone should.
Otherwise it feels Ezra, wasted. You mother.
I know, right? Next time you get high, I want 2 pages.
I need an essay, dog. I need an essay. Hey, 9.2, 9-point essay. Don't play with me. No double spaces, dog. I appreciate you letting me come over this moment. This actually is really. I think it's the headsets, bro.
Bro, no. So when you and your brother, see. I still ain't get time in this bitch.
Can we do it together? You got 3 headsets and 3 mics?
We could do up to right now.
You've not got your brother in here yet?
No.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Hey, can we make that one of those special moments?
Yeah.
If you get that's the hidden footage. That's Volt. That's that Volt footage.
See, check this out. With this, we get into the setup because I want to. It was a heavy investment, but the return is priceless,
bro.
Because
this is therapy for me. This is therapy for me.
Not only can I monetize this video podcast studio, which I fully intend to do, not only can I offer these services to clients, but for myself, I don't know if you saw my post the other day, but like my girls, when they come in here, Shinju knows how to use that right there.
I just saw
that's a recorder, right?
I saw that.
Anju's already, to some degree, doing video stuff at school.
They're gonna be all techie,
They got their own tablets and shit, right? So
that shit, tell me that shit don't trip you out.
For me though, I want to lean into that. I want them to be better than me at it. Because I'm like, this is not going away. Yeah. I'd rather them be better at me at it.
Yeah.
I want them to be like that native.
Yeah.
Like a language.
Yeah.
They should be native at it. They're not gonna have an accent like me. I have an accent when I speak Japanese. They can still be a native speaker. And so I take that same approach when it comes to this kind of stuff. I want them to be used to this. 2-point lighting. Okay, three cameras, multi-angle.
And they already know what it means.
We working on it.
Yeah.
We working on it.
Well, I mean, they'll be there.
But
I can envision it. 16 years old, just killing the game.
When you have this kind of, look, one room in our house, right, dedicated to this, it actually offers a video journal. You already take notes. Like you're saying, you already take notes of yourself. And you know what?
Yes.
I've been taking a video of myself on my birthday. Dude. Giving myself my own video message to myself.
You've inspired me.
And
this is inspired. Walking into the setup has actually inspired the shit out of me because I already had the idea. I just didn't know what it looked like manifested. And that was partially what this was about. And I wasn't really like thinking about coming on the mic like this, but
Hey,
talking to you, look, nigga, we've been kind of like we can talk.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But this is legit.
And this is just one setup.
You gotta erase these niggas out of here too, by the way. Beep. You gotta know you have to beep on the editor.
Yeah. I'm gonna hire some remote editor. All the N-words.
Beep, beep. Oh man.
But the fact that someone said like I have more memories on my phone than I do on my camera, and this is a person who shoots like me. Like I have all this expensive shit. I know how to shoot. I know how to edit. I know how to make content. But all the most valuable stuff is on this thing. Yeah. And so, actually, why? Because it's accessible. It's easy, right? It's that you have that convenience. This has more convenience than all of this.
Convenient. Do you want to talk about convenience?
I just try to make it a little more convenient.
This is love, though. Like there's not a lot of guys that are the investment into this. Yeah. And not just monetarily, homie. This takes a lot of effort, and honestly, I haven't been into a place like this, you know, in the sense where it's actually very liberating. I'm comfortable. You're gonna definitely get the payoff, and if it's not monetarily, you're definitely getting some soul payoff.
Oh, you know, like you said earlier, the word therapy. Yeah. I feel some people don't like hearing themselves when they look at their video, or they don't seeing themselves like. You know, we see each other in the mirror. We see ourselves in the mirror, so it's actually not that how other people see us. I forgot. I think there's actually a term for that. But when you see a video of yourself, as other people see you, not as you see yourself in the mirror. Yeah. Right. It's and then direct, you're hearing yourself. Yeah. And like this, when I can hear myself real time.
That's what I'm saying. This is doing some real shit to me right now. Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. It almost feels kind of like a gym. Yeah. Like I go to it, I commit to going there, showing up. Yeah. And then I leave feeling better, and I leave feeling like, all right, next time I'm gonna come back even better.
You fuck around. I'm about to just start bringing guests in here. You fuck around. I'll be like, kids, look, I got a guest. Like, let's just look.
Do it. Hey,
I'm gonna bring me and you. We can question this motherfucker. We'll have a this 3-way. Let's get it.
That's what my goal is. No, I don't, and I hope you actually do that. I have 12 more bottles.
I'll bring the goods next time.
But you know what? Like one of my goals, I mentioned the other ones, like it's just a business thing. Like, all right, bring some clientele, offer this service, great. But personally, not just the therapeutic nature of hearing myself articulate ideas that I've been thinking about, that I've been sitting and soaking, saturating this fucking brain for how many years, right? Yeah. Actually going through the workout of articulating it, making that attempt in front of somebody, this real life feedback. Yeah. That is a skill in and of itself, but in the larger umbrella, I just want to be a better communicator.
Hell yeah.
I just want to be better at relationships.
Dude, that's life.
And this is kind of like a gym for like relationships, right? Like how can I get better?
You already heard me. I'm bringing people up in this bitch. It's too late. I just came and drank the Kool-Aid. And it was honestly, I love this. I feel like this is kind of divinity in the sense that I already knew that you had this set up. Did I expect it to be like this? Not at all, because I've never done this. And it's beyond everything that I thought it would be. And my brain, this whole time we've been having this conversation, has just been going off. Because I was like, do you know how important this shit right here would be? Like, just to, and it's like, and on some, like, I know you got to do this shit for mine, but it's like, bring somebody that I just know. Hey, come sit down for a second. Talk to us. This is the footage we're going to give you. I feel like this, even outside of that, the tactics of understanding that you can just sit here and feel comfortable. Just talking like this, you know how this is like a session. Sit down. I'm going to give you the disc. Take that home.
That's what.
Take that home. That's your therapy.
You know what was just born? We just had a baby. You just had your sixth child, bro.
The sixth man, baby.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
This has that therapeutic effect. This has that therapeutic nature of feeling comfortable. Bring down the walls.
Absolutely.
Let's talk. And you know what? As a setup, like it's just us two right now in this room. Ideally, I would have one more person as a tech because you can monitor the angles here, the audio levels,
right?
And this piece of equipment. I mean, we can get into like equipment, but this really just makes when you said, when you leave, because my business side of it, the monetization side of it was like, oh, I know how I can monetize it easy is I can offer a client to come in here. We can have this conversation. But not only can the client walk away with this angle right here, which doesn't have Kenji in it, it just has client in it. And now client can use that, right? Like this angle of view, right?
Because I'm going to watch what my mannerisms are after this. Like, shit, I'm scared.
You can use that for your own company. You can give it to your own media team and they can pull shorts from it and all that good stuff. So it's providing value to you. You walk out, I'll give you a link where all of this data is going to be uploaded into from our techs doing that on the side, right? Not only that, this is a live version. So our tech can be over here on this A10 Mini right here, just cutting angles. So essentially they're cutting in real time.
Stop DJing, though. You DJing with
I'm
the vid.
VJing,
I see
baby.
DJing with
I'm
the vid.
VJing, baby. That's video jack. Look. For real.
I see you.
So
though.
like I actually tried this too, like talking, and I know like, oh, my ring finger is 1, so that'll be on Charles. And if Kenji's talking to him, let's go to 2.
You already know where the finger's at?
Let's go.
It's like dial in the phone, keyboard, numeric pad.
Let's cut to the 3 because that's a wide shot. Like this offers that efficiency, that leverage point where you can deliver this medicine. If this is therapy, you can deliver this prescription.
Bro, it's so killer because
to the
if
person
you
walking out the door.
It's so killer because already say you get somebody in here, you hearing yourself speak in your own ears, and then you replay your mannerisms, you replay your reactions to these questions. You see yourself in a delayed mirror. Who? You just say it. You say we birthed the sixth child. You say you birthed the sixth. Hey, you guys saw this shit here first.
Yeah.
Watch.
Hey, real motherfucking talk. This is the kind of stuff that is not afforded to you when you just by yourself in your own. I take walks and I have a recorder. I have a nice recorder that I just put on myself and I just talk to myself. I talk for an hour, hour and a half, however long the walk is, right? And the point is that I have these journals that are audio. And that's immensely powerful for what I do.
It's crazy.
So imagine you add on that layer of this.
Bro, this is mind-blowing.
For whatever the goal is.
That shit right there, that video shit is epic because us here is like voice recording. Yeah. I've heard myself, talk. And I've heard myself like 96 talking. I used to do tapes and shit, right? And I would lie.
Bars.
Bullshit, right? Whatever. But when it's heavy shit, when I'm talking about something that's heavy to me, because at the same time, when you know you're being recorded, you're physically like here, there's an image, you're here now. And if you actually let that go, it's very powerful. And it's actually very challenging at the same time because there will be people that will be very reluctant to even sit down at this table. But it's more like, like when you show up, trust, bro. I just want people to trust it. And I value people, bro. I fucking value
here's
people.
The thing. One montage that I came about on a walk, I think it was last week. Just an audio journal, right? I have an audio journal entry that I have. It was the idea of actually putting together a montage of everybody that I've interviewed in the last, I've been doing this for like 12, 13 years-ish.
Has it been that long since you did this shit? That's why you're so talented, sir.
It's been a minute.
That's why all your gear is nice.
But I asked myself, like, the gear, nice gear. I mean, yeah, these are nice shit. These are nice pieces of equipment, but the relevance, or I would say the weight that money. Let's put it this way: the tool gate, the gateway that is better tools is gaining or holding less and less weight the more and more technology evolves. The barrier to entry is getting lower and lower and lower because what's more valuable is not the nice pixels and all that.
Yeah.
It's what you're saying.
Fuck yeah.
So actually, that's why I want to be a better communicator.
Yeah.
But also, when I look at what is my skill, I can shoot, I can edit, I can talk about light, lines, composition, I can talk about timing.
Your skill is this, bro.
I could talk about that. But
see what you're doing right now.
But what I want to do is this, where it's like, time out. I had sat down in front of so many people from so many countries and so many ages, generations. I have interviewed people from that represent this huge swath of the human experience. Exactly. And if I just took a montage of everyone who I sat in front of the camera, I have like 70 terabytes ish right now in this room.
What'd you say?
70 terabytes.
That's disrespectful.
Yeah, 70 terabytes. Let me go over, because you wanted a little list, but here's a little video of what's going on right here for your own setup. I think 3 cameras are good because you're gonna have like my angle, your angle, and then both. That's just simple. You could actually only do 2. Like Lex Friedman podcast. I don't know if you watch his podcast. He only has 2 angles. So he has speaker 1, speaker 2. Okay. That's it. They're both kind of mid shots, but right now we have like one that's the wide shot, shows both of us. So as far as cameras, 2 minimum, 3 is preferable. Light sources, I got this key light right here. You could do with just this one. That one is more of a rim light for you. I have another one for me, but I just didn't have time to set it up. You could really just do it with one. Something like this. Then you got the mics. It's a preference thing because some people don't like to have the mics in the shot.
You know these mics is expensive. I know. I can already tell. I already knew. I've had a couple mics that I've talked to, and these motherfuckers is too crispy. I'm with you on that.
These are crispy. But hey.
You know what? I might have to go steal these. Where can I steal these from? Best Buy?
You know that guy Ty at Sports Authority?
But need the whole basketball hoop, dog. I appreciate this, Kenj. I don't know if you know, this was kind of my coming out of as far as I've never done this. I've never sat down at a table, had headsets on, and did a conversation. I'm actually more comfortable than I thought I would be. And we, like you said, we just birthed one fucking kid. With that, I think that we'll talk later. I think that it's gonna happen there because I can convince a few people anyway to start it. Man, I think me and you and your brother need to have one time.
Long overdue. Long overdue.
One time.
And you know what? He's always right there. you know what I'm saying? He's right there. Right there.
Right there, Ty. Yeah. Right there, dog.
It'll happen. And to be honest, I haven't actually, now I'm kind of saying it's kind of like tax season getting ready for next year. So I'm actually going through and actually looking at how much it all costs, but also the list of equipment that I have. But for you, the takeaway is you basically, I would say you think of 3 things. You think of the camera, you think of light, sound, and cameras. Mm-hmm.
What about this over here, though?
Is this
station, the mixing boards?
That's all mixed. So like this board right here, that's just audio.
Okay.
So that's just monitoring our audio. It's also got a recorder in it, so the audio
like
files.
You make beats on that bitch too.
You could.
I saw that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could. It's got a lot of inputs on it, so you could put instruments as well as microphones. So yeah, you have one of those. I have a different version of that over there, but it does the same thing. Function wise, it can take multiple inputs of audio and put it into one master.
Got it.
Okay, so that's you want a soundboard. This is a soundboard, but for video. So I guess it's a video board. This is taking multiple inputs of video information via HDMI. So it's hardwired. I could do a wireless system, but that's a whole nother fucking hurdle.
Fuck all that.
It's a whole nother hurdle.
Trip over a wire.
Hardwire
that shit to the ground.
You know what I'm saying? So 3 HDMIs going in there. I got another one for like this laptop in case I wanted to like screen share, in case you want to like watch something and do reactions and
pull
stuff.
Up some shit. Yeah.
I feel you. So this is the
somebody coming in here real acting like the guy attitude. Oh, let me Google the gods real quick.
Yeah. What did you say?
I don't believe you.
Let me just type that.
Or I do believe you. Let's verify.
Fact check. Yeah. I mean,
but dude, this okay. I know. We blew this motherfucker 2 hours. I don't know how long your other one's been. 2 hours? No, what time I got here? 6:30. 6 turtles, boy. It's 8 turtles right now. 8:33.
Oh, you're right.
I'm saying we just fell. I don't know how long those other ones been. We just fell into the fucking rabbit hole on this one.
Yeah. All right.
But let me tell you this.
Okay.
I feel like this was a heroin injection. Like I feel like I'm definitely gonna get withdrawals if I don't jump back on the fucking
you tap back in.
Yeah, man. This is good shit. I just feel better as a person because. And probably even better when you send me this shit, I'm gonna be mad at it and be like, nigga, that's who you beep. That is it. You know, but I appreciate this, and it has inspired me fully to continue on with the work that I think you're made to be and destined to be, who I am. Your brother definitely needs to get involved. The overall thing that I've seen from my vision is like I'm trying to create this parcel of health, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this is a wing of it, and there's things that Kealoha is doing as a wing. Zach, and Ty, Chad, all the boys that are out there are doing positive things. I feel like my role in this is to really bring this parcel together, and then when we all come like the fucking Voltron and shit that sit down right there, we're gonna be able to potentially heal a lot of humanity and do our part, bro. Do our due diligence. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you've spoken like a true steward, like a true provider, like a true father. And, that shit inspires me too.
Right on.
You being inspired is me being inspired. So
right on.
Come back.
Right on. Motherfucker.
Shout out to everybody shout out to the editor that got a beep out of that.
Hey, shout out to Coastal Home Solutions too. I know I've been sweating the shirt out because Kenji turned the AC off on me. He said, "Hey, Brad, you Coastal didn't pay for that electricity, nigga." But shout out to the squad, Ku'u Vermin. We've been holding it down, and if you need one home inspection, holler at us and give me about 5 years. Ken should definitely be involved. Taisei Lee, you know what I'm saying? Zach Vieira, you're going to see some changes coming to our island. It's going to disperse out to the rest of the world. I think God has his fingerprint on Hawaii, and I think we're going to make a big difference. So all my people, stay strong. Youth, look at your mentors, respect the things that are sacred. All right?
That's the outro, right?